final?
Well, everyone, as you would expect going into finals, is relatively nervous, but we've been serious injury free for the whole season. We've sort of had a few people in and out with going on holidays and uni and work and things like that. But going into finals, we should have our full team and everyone's well, so we're looking quite strong.
Redan did come quite close to North a few weeks ago. Do you see them as a danger side?
I think going into finals, everyone's a danger side. I try not to go into finals looking at past performances of other teams, just because finals is a completely different ball game. It makes a big impact when you've got a bit of a support crew behind you, so if you've got other teams there supporting. So everyone comes in with a different game plan, so I don't think it would be too smart to judge based on other performances.
In terms of key matchups, where do you see the game being won?
Well, in terms of Redan, they're quite similar to us in that they've got dominant players throughout every area of the court. Some of the other teams in the league, you can sort of, okay, maybe they've got a weaker defensive side, so you can exploit them by putting on some really strong goalers, whereas Redan don't have that weak link. So I think it's going to be a matter of everyone pulling their weight as opposed to sort of one person carrying the team through.
Kate, it's 1-1 this season between the two teams. I think a win early in the season, and then as Sunbury is built towards the end of the season, they got you by about 8 goals. So what's the approach there, the fact that Sunbury looks to have been really picking up momentum as the season's gone on?
Yeah, well, I think there's two things at play. We played once down here and again in Sunbury, and probably a massive thing for me is I've only come in the last 4 weeks to Redan to prepare them for finals, and Emma Henry, doing a captain coach role thus far, has done a great job in getting the girls in a finals position. And I suppose my role is to sharpen the girls up and really prepare them for the finals. So in that respect, I don't think, for me, it's sort of like we have played Sunbury and we've been close, but I haven't coached. So I'm hoping that I can probably be that X factor. I've sort of watched Sunbury play a couple of matches across the year and have come up with a couple of ideas for match play, and which we hope to execute well and really push them on the weekend. So we shall see. And you're obviously not going to tell us about those now, are you? Well, I mean, look, I think, within the league, I think everyone knows Sunbury's has a very strong defensive nature going down the court, and they also play a number of different sort of defensive structures in their defensive end. And so from that perspective, we have been coming up with counter plays to work our way through their defensive structures. But nonetheless, it is about the whole, I suppose, the team effort across the court and focusing on, I suppose, for me, what Redan, I think, needs to really sharpen up on, and that was the transition from defence into attack. And I believe in the last couple of weeks in particular, we've been really quite strong in that area. And one area, I think, in finals, given the amount of turnovers and sort of the like that happen in finals matches, being able to transition into your own attack end is really valuable. So that's been something I've been focusing on.
Over the last couple of weeks, all the teams going into the finals have been informed. I think the second last round, 5 of the top 6 played, the other had a bye, they all won. And the same again this week. I think there was just one match up between the 2 top 6 teams. So everyone's going into this series at the top of their game, and obviously you need to be at your best, both teams, because one mistake and it can be the end.
Yeah, well, for us, I mean, we're obviously sitting in 5th spot, so down the other end of the ladder. And I mean, I even read recently, an article that perhaps teams aren't necessarily looking at us, but rather talking about matches further on in the final series. And I think that's probably been a real focus point for me, because in 2011, when we won the A-grade premiership, we had at that point not defeated anyone above us on the ladder in the home and away season. And I think maybe teams underestimated our ability to come and step up in finals time, and you get the sense that might be happening again this year, and it's something that I suppose works in our favour, and we'll be hoping to maybe surprise a couple of people, in particular Sunbury on the weekend, and then go from there.
Ruth, I guess you're not one that's going to underestimate.
Well, no. Like's been said, finals is a completely different game plan, and it depends. I mean, the last half of the season we've really started to build, and Adam's been definitely pushing us not to sort of, play a really great 5 minutes of a quarter and then just lag off. He's been pushing us to play out the full hour. So coming into finals is something that we need to make sure that we do that for every game. One little mistake and another team can capitalise it, and that's the difference between winning or losing a game.
Yep, I'm done. It's fine.
Happy days.
Happy days.